Hello Algebra 1 students, this is lesson 45. Our objective is how do you translate words into equations and inequalities, and particularly this time we're talking about inequalities. So let's go ahead and just get started. This is like example 1. It says the difference of a number and 3 is less than 0. Remember, the difference is referring to like a subtraction sign, and we'll just use x, a number, and 3. So I'm going to say x minus 3 is less than, so that means less than 0. That means the number on the left is going to be smaller than the number on the right. So I'm going to put this inequality, because remember, the alligator always eats the bigger number, and that's the alligator right there. See, so he's going to always eat the bigger number. So this number over here is always going to be smaller than 0, because it says less than 0. Okay, so my answer would be x minus 3 is less than 0, because our instructions were just to write this as an equation. The sum, which means addition, of a number, I'll call it x, and 1/3 is at most 5/6. So let's just say x plus 1/3, put that 5/6. Well, it says at most, which means that the number on the left, what we talked about before, is going to be that number or smaller, right? If the most money you ever have is $1,000, you're going to have $1,000 or less than $1,000. So I'm going to say less than or equal to. That's what that line underneath means, or equal to. Alright, part C says, it's supposed to say the quotient of a number. The quotient of 7 and a number is at least 8. So remember, quotient means division. So I'm just going to say 7 and a number, call that x, is at least 8. At least 8. At least 8 means I wear at least a size large t-shirt. Alright, means if it's any smaller than a size large, it's going to be tight. So I'm going to have to get a large or something bigger if I'm wanting to fit into it. So at least means that the one on the left is bigger, but it says at least, which means it could actually be 8. So I'm going to say greater than or equal to. Alright, so the one on the left is bigger. And then D says the product, which means, remember, multiplication, of 3 and the sum of a number and 7. So it's the product of 3 and this is, that's where like our equal sign or our inequality sign goes, at least 1. Okay, so I'm going to say 3, the sum of a number and 7, that's going to be like x plus 7, right? Because remember, sum is equals to a number, x, and 7. So these are multiplying, right? 3 times the sum of a number and x. So the sum of a number and 7 is at least 7. Or sorry, it's at least 1. So 1 is okay, and anything bigger than 1 is okay. So that's going to go like that. Alright, good. Now let's move on here. Now our instructions are the opposite. It says, here's an equation, write a sentence for it. And I wrote 2 different ones down, and I wrote these down in advance, that way you wouldn't just be sitting here watching me type this out. I wrote 2 different ones down, and you can maybe have a combination of both of those, or maybe you come up with your own that's completely different than that. It's possible as well. So let's just start looking at this one. So this one says the sum of a number and 3, right, because those numbers on top, sum of a number and 3 is divided by 2 is more than negative 3. Okay? Another way to say that would be to say the quotient of a number and 3 and 2 is always bigger than, well, doesn't sound right. The quotient of a sum of a number and 3 and 2 is always bigger than the opposite of 3. There we go. Alright, this one, 5 less than a number is always smaller than 8. Or maybe the difference of a number and and the difference of a number and 5, I don't know why this is here, and 5 is less than 8. So notice is less than, alright, it's just smaller than. Okay, maybe I'll get this next one right without having to fix it. A number divided by 7.2 is at least 4.6. Alright, because this is over here on the left is bigger. On the left is bigger than this, so it's 4.6 or bigger. That's why I said at least. Or another one would be to say the quotient of a number in 7.2 is greater than or equal to 4.6. Okay. Another one. The product of 6 and a number less than 5 and a number less than -5 is at most 15. Yeah, that works, it works. Confusing, but it works. The product of 6 and a number less than -5, right? A number less than -5 is at most, it means it could be 15 or smaller than that. Alright, yeah. And then, also near 6 times the quantity of -5 and a number is less, and a number less is never bigger than 15. It's never bigger than 15. Alright, I think you're hopefully catching on. I apologize for my mistakes. I hope you don't make them. Just reread those, because I typed these up and didn't reread them. So reread them. That's your lesson for today. Reread them before you read them to someone else or grade them. Alright, your homework's on page 285. All 45s, 44s, and 9 more of your choice. Good luck.